Imagine if an SJW got a hold of this stream right now. Oh my, we would be blacklisted.
We're canceled. We're canceled.
Of course, yeah. If Kenobi's a jumbled mess like that, a lot of fans are. It's not going to be good.
The guy with the guy in the cloak with the hood. You know that.
Again, a lot of people. A lot of people are really mad about that, man. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another late night. Oh my God, I have my camera in way too close right now. I gotta fix that. I am joined, as always, by my good friend, my heterosexual life partner, Moff Rissman.
Hello there. How are you?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. I feel like I've been on a streaming marathon, but I'm good.
Dude, yeah, you have absolutely been on it today. Have you gotten a break yet? Do you need to take a minute?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Good.
Okay, good. Well, we're glad to have you here. It's been a very interesting couple of, oh my God, somebody did not change their name to the Landed Gentry.
Look at Grease's picture. I love it.
Oh my God. That is amazing. Hello, chat. Welcome, everybody. I see Johnny Wingate in here. Gray Pilgrim, Maria Espino. Darth Vader joined us. What's up, Darth Vader?
How's it's Brendan DeLumpa. It's Brendan DeLumpa.
That's Brendan DeLumpa.
Yeah,
all right. Datboy Steve is here. King's Advisors, Nathan Emmert, Beskar Man 38, Nick Coolio, the great and powerful. Ghost Rider is here. Good to see you, Ronnie. Hello. I said King's Advisors, right? I think I said that. Big Low is here. Breezy's Comics and Collectibles. Good to see you. Strategist is here. KG, the Landed Gentry, of course, which is going to stick with me forever. That's absolutely amazing. The Gray Pilgrim, hello. Corso Travin, the Orlando Dragon, the legendary Tron himself. Good to see you, brother. Valiant Archer, T. Davidson, Nicky. Who am I missing? Small Time Republic, good to see you here. Oh, God. $5 to do your best Landed Gentry, boys. My throat is like destroyed right now. I've had a real I've been on Friday. I was sick as hell. I was literally puking all day, and then Friday night I had to put my cat down. So Saturday morning it's just been ugh. But okay. This is so hard to do. You could be Landed Gentry. All right. I hope that makes you happy. I hope that was worth it. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Late Night. It's good to see you all here. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So, we've gotten what I would consider to be a decent episode of Mandalorian and a wonderful episode of The Bad Batch, and then some absolutely idiotic statements from Bob Iger. So, we've got some stuff to talk about. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with what's good.
Oh, and don't forget, it's a new thing now on late nights. We're going to have popping questions.
Oh, God. But not, please, Maria has to be fully clothed. We cannot have...
Every person should be fully clothed.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. We should be fully clothed for all pop-ins on X-Wing. If you are not fully clothed, you will not be reappearing on this channel ever again.
Yes.
Having said that, let's get started. So I suppose we can start with do you want to start with Mando or Bad Batch?
Mando's fine. Sure.
Mando? Okay. So, I already did a live stream on this. I talked about Mandalorian, and I thought, this was definitely a good episode this week. This is more like what I would have considered a later season 2 type episode. So it wasn't anything that was like absolutely mind-blowing. But there was some good stuff in there. There were definitely, I had issues with the beginning of the episode, but like the ending 50% was really good in my opinion. The problem is the beginning 50%.
I really thought Bo-Katan stole the show, and I don't think I'm upset about that. I'm a huge Katie Sackhoff fan.
Yeah.
And I thought what they're doing with sort of the progression of her character, if you think about the arc that she's been on from when she was first introduced to now, I think she's a well-written character. I have to give them credit on that. Now, there was a recent interview I saw with Katie saying, basically commenting on, Bo's character arc, and she said something like, as she continues on, there's going to be some people that are not going to be happy with her at all, and other people are going to like it. Which that sounds like, well, those are the only two options. But the way she said it, it makes me think that this mythosaur sighting and how she approaches things after this, and what she feels like it enables her to do or not do, may be unexpected from our standpoint. So from that standpoint, I was okay with the episode. There were other things about it that I really didn't get. You know, the monsters, you know, the Alamites over and over and over again, the weird Grievous thing. I'm like, I like the design of it, so I don't.
You didn't like the weird Grievous looking brass Skyrim dwarf miner thing?
I like the design of the thing, but I had a real hard time understanding how it really fit in, unless they were just saying Mandalore is weird.
I get that.
You know what I mean? I'm like, how did it? You know, and there was that throwaway line where she's like, "Well, if the Alamites survived, who knows what else did?" But did she mean that thing? Was it? You know, and then she never commented about it. She just killed it.
So there was a lot of stuff that was kind of unexplained in this, right? So we get that giant creature that attacks Mando and Bo-Katan, but we also, like, right after it happens, not a word is spoken about it. They're like, what? There's no, what the hell was that thing? What the hell has survived under here for that long? How did it become like a cyborg that's living in the like, and how long was it underneath that ash, just sitting there waiting for something to come along?
And like, you think she would have commented on all the helmets? I mean, it had like a trophy case of helmets of all the Mandalorians that apparently came before that allowed it to continue living. And for all I know, in the third episode, she's going to comment on it. I don't know. But I'm like, it was just, for me, it was really, really weird.
Real quick, I just wanted to just drop this since we're just getting started, and I thought it was going to take us all night to do this, but here we are. Let me present the screen real quick. I want to give a big shout out to my community, everybody that's in my community, the Echo Base Network community, the community over at Stone Loki. We hit $1,500.
Oh wow! It just happened.
We're done. That's it.
Nice.
We freaking got it for the legendary Tron. I am so effing proud. Legitimately, like, everybody in this community has always been extremely giving, extremely kind, extremely charitable with everything that we've done. And we've done so many different charities. We've done so many different things to try to help people out. And then this one just came out of the blue. I was like, dude, like, Tron needs this graphics card. He's trying to play Hogwarts Legacy. I know the struggle because I tried to play it on my computer that I thought was a freaking Hyperspace machine, and Hogwarts Legacy was like, nah, fam, you're not doing that. And I had to go out and spend $600 on a damn graphics card myself because it's very demanding. So thank you, everybody who donated. There was a big one just now. King's Advisors, a good friend of the community, somebody I play chess with at 1 o'clock in the morning almost every night. King's Advisors dropped $200. John Wong, if you have a different YouTube name, please let me know in the chat so I can give you a thank you. Ghostwriter dropped $200. We had an anonymous 20. And then we also had some folks that popped in from Stone Loki's community. I know he had it up in the chat the other day. Skull Brother dropped for 100. I don't know if that was Loki and he just said Skull Brother. I'm not 100% sure. Scott Westbrook for 25. Another anonymous for 50. The GoFundMe team even dropped $5. KG, Debbie Young, Deeds, Corso. We had another anonymous $10. Maria Spino dropped in for 100. Matt Rissman, yours truly, right here. Good to see you, buddy. Dropped $100. Donna, an anonymous. Jim Sexton, David Wimbish, Ivan Robles, who's one of our, if you've seen him, Valientes in the chat. Toddzilla, Erica Lawrence. Is Erica Lawrence? Do you know? Is that Red Tigress?
I don't think so.
I don't know exactly who Erica Lawrence is. If you're in the chat, please say what's up. David Carlion and another anonymous. We did it. $1,500 for Tron. Absolutely landed it. So God bless you, brother. It's good to see you in the chat tonight. I'm stoked for you. I am absolutely stoked for you because you're about to get some space age, crazy Roswell, freaking Area 51 shit plugged into your computer.
Well done.
I'm very happy for you, brother. I'm very happy for
And
you.
Star Wars Dog just confirmed in the chat that he was one of the givers as well. So great job.
Perfect.
Great job, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, dog. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Like I said, I don't usually, beg you guys for money, but this is one that I thought was really important. So thank you guys so much. What a great way to start the stream.
Amazing.
Holy shit.
Absolutely.
So thank you, everyone. I think we earned a little something.
Okay.
I think we earned a little bit of dance.
Oh, here we go.
On in the stream. I think we need to just. That stuff just kind of that just gets me in the mood. I love it. So again, thank you, everyone. I guess let's keep it rolling. Holy cow. I don't know what to say. That was like the whole goal tonight with the late night was to get there, and we're there.
That's good. That's really, really good.
Happy boy. So, one of my early assumptions when that thing, originally came out of the sand, I thought it was one of the basilisks.
Yeah.
One of the old Mandalorian basilisks.
A lot of people did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that would have made sense for them to do, but yeah, we get this kind of weird, like General Grievous Dianaga eye odd kind of thing that pops out. And I loved it because I thought it was really creative. I thought it was dope how they had him moving, from piece to piece in different pieces of machines and stuff like that. It's just like a moving brain that takes over this equipment. But I kind of wanted, for once in Mandalorian, I wanted some exposition. I wanted them to describe what that was.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
I wanted a backstory. I wanted Bo-Katan to say, "Oh shit, this thing had this other purpose or whatever," because she said about the Alamo.
It's an old piece of mining equipment that they used in yada 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 or something.
The Alamites, she very clearly said, "Oh, they used to live on the fringe. They kind of moved in. Blah blah blah." Okay, get it. And then this other thing showed up, and it's like, okay, is there only one of them? Is there more?
Yeah,
I don't.
Who knows? How did that thing get to where it was? Why is it there? If Mandalorians haven't been to the planet in God knows how long, why did it set up a trap with a Mandalorian helmet? What was it using to survive? Was it just killing those little dragon knockoff alligator things in the pipes? And if it was doing that, why was it hiding under a Mandalorian helmet? A lot of things just don't really make sense. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I'm with you. So maybe, we'll see. Maybe they'll come back to it. A lot of times they don't, though, right? And it's just a sort of just a throwaway thing. So again, I love the design of it. I just found that to be weird. Yeah. And I will say, for me personally, there were some parts of the episode that just dragged a little bit. It you know what I mean? It just, even though it wasn't the longest episode, it just seemed, them getting to the point of going down into there, and then Grogu had to go all the way back out, and then coming back to Bo-Katan's place, and then she had to come back, and they had to go down again. I'm like, okay, it was a lot of just trying to get around, and she was able to fill in some lore.
That's a very Mando thing, though, right? I mean, that is very much a Mando thing. But to your point, something that I did like that they did is I feel like in season 2 or season 1, the whole trip to Tatooine to talk to Pelimoto and then going to Bo-Katan, that would have taken a full episode in the past season. And we would have just been like, bruh. My God.
There are some parts of this, though, if you think about distances between things, right? They seem to get around very quickly.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
Very quickly, because it makes everything look very, very small, right? Tatooine, Mandalore, and parts of the system and all that stuff. It's like they're just zip, 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 zip.
Having said that, though, do you really want to spend that much time in hyperspace?
No, I really don't want to spend that much time in hyperspace, but it sort of diminishes, to me, it sort of diminishes the whole point of hyperspace and how long some things should take. And they're trying, and in their effort, it's so weird for me, right? Because in their effort to try and overcome it felt smaller, and it's closed now. They're trying to make it feel a little bit bigger, but yet they're getting everywhere very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, remember though, Mando was passed out in the N1. He was sleeping.
He was sleeping.
So that's an indication that it was taking him a while to get there.
Originally, yes, but it didn't seem to. I don't know, dude. There's just some parts of it where I'm like, you just have to. I guess you just have to suspend part of that disbelief and just sort of engage yourself in the funness of the story. But I'm like, it some of it just felt a little cheaply written.
So I get where you're at with the hyperspace thing. Like, that doesn't make sense. They can't get from the core to here. They're in Tatooine, they're in the Outer Rim, and then they got to go over here to basically Concordia. Everything in that area is a very small distance. So the travel at that portion kind of makes sense to me, in between Mandalore and then I can't remember the name of Bo-Katan's castle, but that planet's Cavalava Ding Dong.
Yeah.
That one, those are all fairly closely spaced, so that makes sense. But there's always been something about Star Wars, and this much I don't mind, that there is, it's not Star Trek. And that's why I didn't like so much the idea of the stuff that they were doing with Solo, when they're like, we got to get we're running out of fuel, or Last Jedi, like, oh my God, the ships are running out of fuel. Like, that's a little too much for me. You know what I mean? And if you briefly say something in passing, like, all right, this is the fastest hyperdrive we got, it's still going to take 3 days to get there. That's fine. But I don't want it to be a constant thing about, like, we have to get to this place immediately, otherwise we're screwed. Because if there's a battle happening on Corellia, I don't want to, if the fleet's on the other side of the galaxy, you don't want to be like, well, we're going to be there in like a week or two, we'll see you when we get there. So that part doesn't bother me so much. The shit that does bother me is the humor in the beginning of the episode. The stuff with Pelimoto, the absolute dragging out of terrible fucking jokes. Terrible jokes. And, it's right on cue. I watched it with my wife, and we get done with the Tatooine episode, the Tatooine portion of the show. I'm like, what do you think of that? She's like, oh my God, it's hilarious. I'm like, oh my God. You are Disney's perfect target audience right now. Perfect target audience. Because she's not a Star Wars-ite. She's not a sweaty. She's like a normal human being. And I hated it. And she's like, oh, I love it. What are you going to do?
It's on your point. It's appealing to just it's doing the job as much as we might not like it being a bit over the top, if you will.
Yeah.
It's doing the job they intended in trying to make it lighthearted, and just adding in that fun factor. And Favreau has said, he's like, our mantra and the things that one of the things we've always been going towards, in doing this show is we want it to be a show that families can watch with young children.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, we're still trying to attack some things that are a bit dark, and we're not trying to make it totally childish, but he said in one of the interviews I watched, he said, we're really very cognizant of trying to strike that balance and make sure that families can watch it together. And then he said something like, Andor, families watching it together. No, he said it's a whole different, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So I get what you're saying, and I get what he's saying, and at least they're cognizant of that, and they're trying to make an attempt at it. But I would say, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, give us that want Star Wars to be badass all the time, give us a badass show. And I'm talking a badass show. I'm not talking Andor. I'm talking a badass show. And there are some rumors kind of swirling around right now that Rian Johnson's trilogy might be the Bane trilogy.
I don't think he's really going to have a trilogy.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that's the rumor at the tetherball courts, as it were.
Do you really want Rian Johnson touching Bane?
I don't want him to touch anything. I don't want Rian Johnson to do anything. I'll be honest with you. I really liked Knives Out. I liked it. I thought it was good. Glass Onion.
I didn't like Glass Onion so much.
not so much.
Yeah.
So I think everybody kind of took the success of Knives Out and were like, well, he's a really good storyteller. And I'm like, that's a one-off, bro. That's a one-off. You want to talk about, if you want to talk about the greats, somebody you can trust to handle things, then take people who have done things multiple times and made shitloads of money. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, like people who can consistently pick things up and make good movies. Why are you pursing lips right now when I said Christopher Nolan?
No, I'm with you, Michael Bay.
Okay,
Christopher
okay.
Nolan, Michael Bay. I was going to say
Michael Bay's a whole different fucking bag of beans.
He's a prolific.
Successful in the United States and successful in China are two completely different things.
He's prolific from a directorial perspective, right? He's up there in the top 10. I was going to say James Cameron, right? If they could ever entice James Cameron to do something Star Wars.
Dude, if you could get Jim to do something Star Wars, I'm on board 1,000%. No questions asked. I'm on board.
So, it's a matter of, it's not that these directors don't exist. It's a matter of attracting them in and doing something. And from their standpoint, it's like, why is it worth my time at this point to come into the franchise? Because I feel like for some of these folks, the ship has sailed a bit, right? I think they could attract Ron Howard back first.
I'd take Ron Howard over fucking Ryan Johnson in a heartbeat.
Or a Kasdan that might still be interested in doing something.
I think Kasdan's the better choice. If you can put Lawrence in.
And Kasdan has said that, still interested. So for me, I always go back to, if you have some of these directors that have proven their ability to do this stuff, that express an interest, why is it not an automatic please and thank you? I don't get it, right? Before we go to Lindelof and all the rest of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
Why not bring Kasdan back?
Why? Because you have Taika Waititi. He's the popular kid at the lunch table right now, right? Because he was picked up by, so he did, he did What We Do in the Shadows and Jojo Rabbit and Thor: Love and Thunder. And everybody's like, oh my God, he's God's gift to fucking Earth. He's going to be the next big thing, right? He's the next James Gunn.
I would probably say Ragnarok before I would say Thor: Love and Thunder, but I'm with you.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I meant Ragnarok. Those happened, and then we got Thor: Love and Thunder. And I feel like that progression is important, because when Love and Thunder came out, you basically had Taika Waititi unchecked. And he was able to do whatever he wanted, because they're like, everything this guy touches turns to fucking gold. And that was not the case with Thor: Love and Thunder, because I feel like he operated unchecked. But having said that, I feel like it was kind of the same thing with What We Do in the Shadows. And I really liked What We Do in the Shadows because it didn't touch anything I gave a shit about. And so I enjoyed the humor. It was fun. He was good at that. Yeah. The problem that I have with Taika is that he takes that same kind of humor and doesn't really give a bother to think about what he might be doing. I am getting massive deja vu right now. We either already talked about this, or I'm repeating myself, or I don't know.
Keep going. You're making a good point. Keep going.
But the bottom line is, his brand of humor doesn't really allow for the kind of care that's necessary when it comes to legacy characters or an IP that's as highly regarded as something like Star Wars. And we saw that come through when we saw Thor: Love and Thunder. Sure, it was a new story that they were telling. I'm assuming it's a new story they were telling. I don't know if this happened in comics or anything like that. I'm not really a Marvel guy, but
the God Butcher story,
that was part of it.
Established story, but he took liberties with the portrayal,
right?
On your point, and sort of over-parodied it. That's why I always, and I'm not the first person who said this, but a lot of folks have kind of summed it up by saying, Thor: Love and Thunder was like the perfect parody of a Marvel movie, right? And it was just taken to the extreme, and
it was too much.
And it was too much to Christian Bale's detriment. I mean, Christian Bale was the best for me. Was the best part of that movie, and they totally neutered, the character that he was due to play, and just how that character was in the rest of the story. So,
right.
So I, on your point, I don't I don't know what to make of Taika, except, I go back to a couple of the interviews where he has sort of expressed the fact that it's weighing on him. He's like, that's when he was like, well, you want a Jar Jar movie? He's like, there's so much going on here.
There was that quote in the Variety article where he basically says, I don't want to touch the stuff because I'm not going to make anybody happy if I do it, which is great to hear. That's awesome. But that doesn't mean he can't go somewhere else and fuck something else up. And so that's basically where my mind is at. And it sucks because I sit down and I spend 3 hours making a video talking about Taika Waititi and is he a good fit for Star Wars? 2,000 people watch it. And all of a sudden my mind starts to turn and I'm like, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not a good fit for Star Wars because to be fair, in the video, I said, I don't think he is, but he has the possibility of being a good director for it if he gets the right kind of movie. But the more I think about what Taika would do, and we've all seen that little image where it's the School of Hard Rock kind of looking Star Wars image.
Yeah.
And if I have to guess, what he's probably going to do is go all the way back to the original Jedi. So JED apostrophe,
back in the
HAII, all the way back to the beginning, and basically make a goof film. It's about Jedi figuring out they can, oh my God, I can move stuff with my mind. And I already see some shitty scene where a guy's trying to pick up a rock and there's a dude floating in the background like, oh, hey,
look at me, look at me. No hands, no feet.
No. Isn't this funny? And I'm just like, oh, shit, we do not need that right now. And at that point, I would take a Rian Johnson Darth Bane trilogy over that movie from Taika Waititi.
Well, I think for me, what I always go back to is whatever Taika is or isn't doing, I don't think it's coming out in 2025, right? And remember, we're only in 2023 and just barely now, right? So by the time we get to the point where any of these movies are coming, it's gonna be 2027. And I'm kind of like, for me personally, I've almost sort of gotten to the point now where I'm just over it. We've gone so long now with them doing nothing but continuing to roll Rogue One back out into the theater
again.
Maybe we're really going to get Return of the Jedi in April.
Yeah.
For anniversary, of course. We should all hope everyone goes to see it if they really do that. I know it'll be the special edition, but okay, it's still part of the original trilogy theatrically released. But now I'm kind of like, to me, the ship has sailed. You know what I mean? I'm like, you've totally wasted the opportunity to come back at it. And Iger just today, we're still very, taking a very thoughtful approach to it. I'm like, motherfucker, you thoughtful? How much longer are you going to think about it? You've been thinking about it for 6 years, 7, how many years now?
Do it.
I don't. So I'm like, fuck you. Right? I mean, because it doesn't happen like this. Even if they put, you know what I mean? So whatever we're going to get in 2025, we're going to get it. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? I don't even think about it.
Well, I just kind of hate that. So, I mean, obviously our knowledge of what is coming from when it comes to theatrical releases has been like the Medusa roller coaster. We got something confirmed. Oh my God. Okay. It's really happening. Holy shit. Like we get basically a pre-teaser trailer of the director talking about this amazing movie. And she's wearing a pilot suit and getting in a literal fucking X-Wing in front of our eyes. I'm hyped out of my mind. People are like, dude, whatever. That's going to be a shitty movie. I'm like, go fuck yourself. This is going to be amazing. I'm excited. Channel name's X-Wing. I'm excited for some Star Wars dogfights. It's on. It's off. It's on. It's off. It's shelved. No, it's coming back. This is definitely happening. No, it's not. By the way, Taika Waititi's in, secret talks to fucking make something happen. And also Kevin Feige's over here, or was it Kevin Feige or James Gunn? I don't even remember. It was one of the Marvel guys. They were going to do it. I think it was Feige. Feige was going to do a Star Wars movie.
Feige's out also.
Yeah. All of a sudden, now it's not a thing. Like, holy shit. You've been doing this with shows too. Like we're getting Rangers of the New Republic, all this different shit. Fucking figure it out, Lucasfilm. At least give us a roadmap that fucking means something. This is like the YouTuber who says they're starting a new series and then they don't do the series and then they announce 6 other series that they're going to do and they never fucking touch them. It's dude, it's just as bad for small content creators. It's way worse for a major company to do this kind of shit because you hype people up and then you shit them on the toilet. And it's like, how do you expect me to be excited or back you up or talk about projects when you don't even fucking know if they're coming to fruition?
Well, and now also it just comes down to me to pure finances. Making a movie is expensive, and they've already proven, they're not going to go back and make a $50 million movie, right? Whatever next Star Wars movie they're going to make is going to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars again from a budget perspective.
So that's not what Iger's saying.
Come on, man.
Okay, well, okay, let's talk. This is a really good segue. Let's talk about what Iger's saying when it comes to theatrical releases and stuff like that. Because yes, he was like, look, this shit costs a lot of money. We got to slow the tempo down and actually look at what we're making, which I find fucking hysterical because when the sequel trilogy era was in full effect, Bob Iger was saying, I want one a year. You give me a Star Wars movie every single year.
I think what he's saying is that was stupid. So he's in a way he's saying exactly.
You fucking figured it out, Bob.
But here's the point of it. So now that he's acknowledging that was stupid, it doesn't help our cause because it's going. They can't put out a cheap movie. So now it's even more around.
They can't put out a cheap show either because I don't think you'll disagree with me. Kenobi was cheap.
Oh, horribly cheap. I mean, if I could tell they were reusing the original Mandos set when Kumail Nanjiani was sitting there acting like a Jedi, I'm like, he's sitting in the same place the client sat. I mean, if I can see that this is the same set, they have done something very, very wrong. Very wrong. So the best thing I will say about Mando 3 is it's felt more polished.
Oh my god!
Than what we got
massively more polished.
Yeah, than what we got with Kenobi. I mean, it's like no comparison, right? You can't really compare it to Andor per se because that was all physical setting and that was all old school special effects. But I'm just saying,
Andor was a lot more. It was definitely more kind of old school Hollywood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can even do that anymore, though. To a degree, some of the stuff that they were using, if you're going to do that, your prop department needs to do more work. Yeah. If that makes sense. So I don't know if it's just because prop departments are waning off because we do so much with CG now, but the prop department lacked in Andor 100%. So it was great that we got all that stuff, but
it lacked in. So you're talking about the boots and some of the other things.
AK-47s, a fucking scuba mask.
But when you think about everything that was in Luthen's shop, right? When you think about the fact they used practical models for the space battle, when you think about some of the other things that they did do, how they constructed the whole prison sets, those were all.
So why did they do all that and then forget the easy shit?
Well, because again, I think they tried to focus in on what they thought would make the biggest impact, and to me, boots is the least impact, right? The fact that they repurposed weapons and they didn't do a great job, sort of making them a little less legacy, real world. For me, I'm like that isn't a huge deal when
Did you just say repurposed?
When I consider
that was a Kalashnikov.
When I consider the broader impact of everything they produced across those 12 episodes, I'm like I have to give them respect for that. Again, compared to what we got in Book of Boba Fett and we got in Kenobi, very volume focused, very small set, very narrow, very let's not go back into Kenobi and your favorite, the speeders, that's just not right. And the Star Destroyers being ruined. But I'm saying, I see them having addressed that a little bit more so far in Mando 3. All I'm saying is, when they come back to the next theatrical release, it's got to be more like Andor, right? It's got to be more primo. And I think before Iger...
Well, it's got to be more physical. But having said that, they need we after 83 we left 100% physical sets. We left 100% physical everything. You have to incorporate CGI into Star Wars 100%.
Sure.
And so one of the most misguided things that they did in Kenobi was the fucking physical lightsabers. And I think they suffered in Mandalorian too with the physical lightsabers, because if you look at chapter 16, you'll see it with Luke Skywalker in those security scenes. They even fucked that up, and that's one that's beyond reproach for me, is that you'll see Luke with a 36-inch blade, and then it cuts to a different one, and he's got a 24-inch Shoto saber, and then it comes back to a different one. And honestly, when you use those physical sabers, they waver and they waffle, and they also
You
put
can see
off
kind of flopping a little bit. It's
and they put off too much light onto the character as well, way too much light, so you wind up with a bunch of purple everywhere. So I hate to be that guy, but they need to fucking think more. They need to put more thought into this stuff. They absolutely have to. Mandalorian, season 3, episode 2, chapter, what is that now? 18?
18, yeah.
Chapter 18. It looked like a movie.
It was damn close, wasn't it?
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And the fact that we get that from episode 2 of The Mandalorian, and then Kenobi was absolutely disregarded, breaks my heart. And it shows me again what I've said over and over and over and over again. Disney Lucasfilm fucking hates the prequels.
I don't have much to say about that, right?
I mean, do you disagree?
I can't, you know, I was such a huge proponent of the Kenobi series just because I really thought they were going to knock it out of the park, especially with Ewan being involved and all the rest of it. And what we got was really underwhelming and a bit disappointing because they half-assed it. And
I was in a 3-week-long depression, Matt Rissman.
I remember. What I'm trying to say is I don't know if it was because it was specifically pseudo prequels era content, because the story didn't take place in the prequels era.
No, but it's those characters.
I think they just said, you know what, if we've got if we've got Hayden coming back, if we've got Ewan coming back, people are going to watch it for them, so we don't have to be, you know, super detailed or careful in regards to how we do some of the rest of it. And so, or they paid so much to get them back, they ran out of budget to do some of the rest of it. I don't know which it was.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? There was just so many stupid... Remember the gate? The whole thing with the gate? Where we thought it was so cool, a stormtrooper got cut in half or whatever, and, you know, Kenobi's trying to figure... They could have just walked around the damn thing. I mean, there were so many stupid things they did in that series that at the time, you're so enamored, you know, watching what happens, and later you're like, well, that was dumb.
Well, we have Ewan McGregor back on screen, right? So we're like Pike, right? In a nice cold river, and they're throwing shit into the water, and then every once in a blue moon, they drop a nice, shiny silver spinner, and we're like, oh my God, right? That was the same thing they tried to do with the Coruscant part. They didn't de-age Hayden Christensen, and they gave us a freaking flat Coruscant.
There were no ships moving at all.
It looked like Reno, Nevada in 1890. Like, there's no fucking buildings. What are we doing?
We had a better Coruscant in Andor than we did in...
Way better Coruscant. Way better Coruscant. All right, I gotta fix
and we're gonna get it in Mando 3. I think it's Coruscant anyway. It could be.
Yeah, with Dr. Pershing rolling along.
Yeah. So I mean, but
That's
even
Coruscant.
even him in that. I hope they do something else with that, because him in that car looked awfully fake to me. In that air car, there was just something about it that was off. So hopefully they tweaked that a little bit. But yeah, I mean.
This is my favorite comment of the night. They gave Kenobi the kids' bop saver. Hey kids, did you like the prequels? Check out this. Bop. Oh my God. And the trench coat. Yeah, I don't want to revisit Kenobi anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I thought, you know, and the fact that they got away with it and people still say they love that show is what drives me the most nuts. I'm like, well, you don't like the prequels, apparently. And you definitely don't like George Lucas. If you like Kenobi, how can you like that shit? I totally understand dangling that fruit in front of you and being like, oh my God, I haven't seen these people in so long. And believe me, I feel that way. Just to see Ewan again on screen as Obi-Wan Kenobi, to see Hayden Christensen again in that moment when he's in the cloak, you know, in the distance, standing there, and to see Hayden with the broken mask and his eyes are peering through it. Don't think for a minute that shit was everything that I wanted. The child in me was screaming. But the way they delivered it was like, hey, it's your favorite chef's dish from fucking 1999, except it's covered in a gigantic fat fucking turd. But don't you love it? It's your favorite dish ever. Don't you love your favorite dish? Like, no, I will not accept this. And I've been getting shit on since that happened. And apparently I'm an evil person for it. And if that's the truth, then yeah, I guess I'm evil. And I'm going to hold on to that.
No, I mean, I can't fault you for the way you feel, because as I reflected it, and I've watched it quite a few times, you know, I'm done with Kenobi, really, right? I'm more done with Book of Boba Fett. But I'm definitely done with Kenobi, just because I feel like we were more than a bit robbed from a payoff perspective.
Yeah. I was bent over a pinball table. Anyways, getting that all out of our mind. Holy crap.
So wow. we went from the next theatrical has to kill it back to, it goes back to, it always either goes back to Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett or both, right?
I think I'm just in a dark place. I'm in a, yeah. Anyway.
Well, how will you feel when Boba Fett shows up for his 2 episodes in Mando 3? Are you ready?
Honestly, if it's the Boba Fett that we deserve, great. Because here's the thing with Boba Fett for me. Again, everything that I said about Kenobi, they did with Boba Fett. Same thing. It's the exact same thing. If they move back and give us the Boba Fett that we deserve, the one that we got in Mandalorian, the fucking Boba Fett that we know and love, I can move on with Boba Fett. I can't move on with Kenobi at this point. I don't know if I can. I mean, it's tough. If they really do a really good job fixing it, then I might be able to accept Disney Kenobi. But Boba Fett is a far easier thing for me. If they just bring him back and they make him the Boba Fett that we need and we want and we love, I can move on. And I think they will do that. I think they'll bring Boba Fett back in and they'll have some shitty fucking 5-minute side quest where they're like, weren't you running Tatooine? And he's like, oh, I'm not doing that. And they're like, okay, well, come with us. And then he's going to leave Tatooine.
Well, we know he needs to show up on Navarro at least some point, because somehow Grief's got his kitchen droid. His kitchen, you know, the Grievous chop it up.
Yeah, the Grievous droid.
Making food.
I can't forget that.
He's got to come back and get it. I don't know how he's eating anything.
Yeah. This is the thing that drove me oh my God. He's a nice Boba Fett now. No, he's not. He might be softer. It's fucking Boba Fett. The guy has forged an entire life off of murdering people. You can't turn him into frickin' Barney in 9 episodes. Get out of here. It's ridiculous. And make stupid decisions like hovering a ship over the star. Oh my God. I don't want to get into that either.
So I think and hope that we will get a version of Boba Fett in Mando 3 if he does appear, that we'll be happy with. And also, I think there is a very, very real possibility we're getting a Book of Boba Fett season 2, specifically because there's been rumors that they've produced a new Boba Fett suit in propping, you know, in wardrobe for him, obviously for him to wear, or for Boba Fett to be featured in. And also in the recent Pedro Pascal interview on StarWars.com, when they were sort of recapping Din Djarin's journey, they said something like, well, you know, we did see Din Djarin, you know, make an appearance in the first season of Book of Boba Fett. And those are the exact words they used. Why say first season? Just say the Book of Boba Fett.
I think this could be an interesting pop-in section. What would you want to see from Boba Fett season 2 if it's created? What do you think?
Sure.
You like it?
Yeah.
Do you rather do that or Kenobi season 2?
Ooh. I think give them an option. Let folks pop in and
Okay.
talk about whichever one.
So we can do that. We're going to open this up for kind of rapid fire questions popping in. We're going to talk. We're going to narrow it basically below 5 minutes, somewhere between 1 and 5 minutes. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you want to pop in, ask a question, discuss this for just a minute. We're going to bring you in and we're going to talk about either Kenobi season 2 or the Book of Boba Fett season 2. Link is popping up in the chat now. Let's put on Ray's theme. How about that?
It sounded like you're playing Raiders. It sounded like was it Raiders?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, not only do we have the landed gentry in chat, but we also have the apostate in chat as well.
Oh, landed gentry and apostate.
Yeah, we got
I honestly didn't think that video was going to go as far as it did, but I think I showed some people. I was like, dude, don't accept this. This is ridiculous. The dialogue has been, to me, like one of the biggest detriments for Mandalorian season 3. There are so many things that they say where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Too funny. Too funny.
Mob says Boba is less damaging than Kenobi. Lol. I think I said that. I was talking to Drunk Tripio, and I think I said that Boba's less damaging than Kenobi. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think that's more of a personal thing. Just because I don't even know if it's personal. I love Kenobi so much more than I love Boba for so many reasons. I mean,
well, when you think about it, right, Kenobi has had so much more time,
a lot more influence.
Franchise, right?
He's literally fucking 900 times more important.
Yeah, the original trilogy, Rebels.
Having said that, though, there are people, I mean, you got to remember that there are a lot of people who, especially growing up with the original trilogy, Boba Fett had about as much time as fucking Obi-Wan.
True. If you just think about, Obi-Wan's got a little bit more because of the Force Ghost business and all that. I mean, and Boba was just, the little bit in Empire and then going out like a bitch in Jedi, right? So, I mean.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Time to start these quick pop-ins. I'll drop the link one more time too. We've already got a couple people in line, but I'll drop it again. All right, we're gonna start with the King's Advisor.
There's Caleb.
My good friend. What's up?
Hello there.
All right. Hello there.
All right. I think I'd like to go with Kenobi. Because honestly, I think it's the easiest thing to do right. Do the lightsabers correctly. Let us see lightsabers actually chop stormtroopers in half like they should. Don't bounce off.
That one was
bouncing
rough,
off the armor right now.
Go around the damn fence.
Oh God.
There's so many little things that you could fix and do correctly that I think just having. You could pay me minimum wage to sit on set and go, that's dumb. Let's change that.
But Caleb, over and above just changing the stupid things, what story would you like to hear them tell in the second season of Kenobi?
I'd stay far away from anything to do with Leia, because the more you add anything to that story, the weirder the fact that Leia doesn't mention. Also, you saved my life 2 or 3 times as a kid to her message in R2. So the more you build up this relationship, the more
problems you create.
Yeah. You really. That's not is that a Setzler? Seltzer. Yeah. Or is it just a regular lemonade?
Don't worry. Yeah, no, I've got beer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so story wise, I'd love to see him decide. You know what? I'm gonna go see if I can find some more Jedi. I'd love for him to decide, you know what? I know I'm here to protect Luke, but I have another duty. I have a duty to the Force. I have a duty to the Jedi that are still out there.
He had
you can kind
one
of see
duty.
But you can kind of see when when that other Jedi is there and he's like freaking out. You can see this, like, he wants to help, but he can't because he has to stay hidden for Luke.
You know, he does a really good job of explaining that. The author of the Kenobi book. So if I was gonna see a Kenobi season 2 with any chance of forgiving what happened,
It's extremely low right now,
which is extremely low. I would say completely disregard the first season. Make sure every single character, every interaction never comes up again, and then tell the story of the Kenobi book.
Yeah.
Tell the story of the Kenobi book. That's it.
What's that book?
It's a fucking amazing book. It's called Kenobi.
I put it on my
it's
list.
The story of him getting into his hut and basically settling in for the long dark winter. The problem is with what they've already done is that they've stolen the moment where Qui-Gon shows up to him.
Yeah.
And so it's almost impossible for him to go on that journey now because they basically referenced it like once in the episode. Truly referenced it once in the episode where he's like, where are you? I spent so long. I'm looking for you. Okay. And then he shows up at the end and he's like, took you long enough. It was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Having said that, there's a lot of good things that they could do basically to try to redeem everything that happened in Kenobi by telling a good story. And it comes down to the plug eye and basically interacting with the Sand People and trying to make a good story out of a barren landscape like Tatooine. That's the best thing they could do.
Well, that's the whole Darth Krayt business and all that, right? Doesn't that originate from that Kenobi book?
It's not Darth Krayt. It's what's
guy's name? I was trying to think of his name. The one I thought I was so sure that Kumal was going to play that character, right?
Yeah, I can't freaking remember right now.
Before I head out,
it was a Jedi that went to the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do want to say that the droid thing on Mandalore, really, one of the things that I thought was really cool about it was the rounded head that kind of looks like T3M4. Seeing like a big version of these droids that were so popular, 1,500 years ago in the Old Republic. I really like that. I thought it was a really cool little set design.
Wait, re-explain.
So the big droid,
you're talking about like
grabbing thing that was grabbing Din Djarin. The head, like the body, is kind of rounded as if it's like a big head from a T3.
You're talking about Revan's droid?
Yeah.
So you can Asherad Het. Thank you. Oh my God, Asherad.
He became Darth Krayt though. It's the same person.
His name was Asherad Het.
Yes, but Jedi. He became Darth Krayt.
Yeah, he didn't go to the Sand People as Darth Krayt.
No, I know he didn't go.
Anyways. Continuing. Okay, yeah. So you're talking about the one from KOTOR.
Yeah, it was a cool little. I don't know if they meant for it to look like that, but
they probably
I saw it and I was just like, this looks like the thing that I've always loved. That droid. It's nice to see a little bit of a recognition.
I hated that droid.
What?
Oh, that thing was a bitch. I got the TK-47 as soon as I could.
Nah, you only hated him because of the mission where you have to have like 400 computer spikes.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them, you mean
can't every progress. Fucking mission in that game? Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Any parting words, my good friend?
I've beaten you 2 of 3 times in chess. 3 of 4 times in chess.
I don't think that's true.
I knew it wasn't.
I have the receipts. I got the receipts.
That's fake news.
I'll
I
post
don't
the
think so.
pictures to the Discord.
Yeah, I don't think it's true. We'll do a live stream chess game one of these days.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who wins. He's probably gonna win. Anyways, thank you, Caleb. Thank you for everything, and thank you for donating. Obviously, to the charity
Tron's
stream
a cool
for
guy. I
Tron.
like him.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So thank you for that. We're gonna pop you out, and we'll bring the next guy in. Thank you, brother.
Caleb. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. See y'all.
See you. All right, next guy on.
Oh,
What
there's
is
my
up,
buddy
Nova?
Vaughn.
What's
How you
going
doing?
on?
What's happening?
Oh, not a whole lot. Now, me, I don't know
What are
if
you thinking?
I don't know if I would go with either. I could care less if they have a season 2 of either episode. But if I was to give a choice, it'd be I'd give it slightly to Kenobi because they can do better things to improve them. If they base it off that novel, the Kenobi novel that you were talking about earlier, that's got a shot. If they can bring back the sequel trilogy lightsaber choreographer, Nelt Gillard, back to do, if there was like a lightsaber duel.
He said
between,
sequel. I think he meant prequel.
or prequel. I mean,
Nick
if they
Gillard.
could- yeah, Nick Gillard. If they
Yeah.
could bring him back, to choreograph another lightsaber duel between Vader and Kenobi, I'd be down with that.
Yeah, Nick's the GOAT, right? I mean, in regards to we got spoiled. Well, maybe I shouldn't say we got spoiled. They should have just
No, we
continued it.
definitely got spoiled.
But now, in retrospect, we got spoiled because they didn't continue it. So I'm with you there, Nova. Bring him back.
So the only thing I would say is that yes, I mean, dude, lightsaber, a nice, good lightsaber fight is desperately needed in Star Wars. But having said that, where is that going to take place in a season 2 of Kenobi? Who's he going to fight?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, because
They blew that opportunity.
They blew that. They did. They blew the hype. They have to redeem that hype. They have to redeem.
Do you
that
remember
duel.
when fucking Kathleen Kennedy said the
Oh, God.
rematch of
Yeah.
the century?
Yeah.
You
I know.
moron! Oh my
I know.
god!
Yeah.
Twice.
Exactly.
Which one was the rematch? I guess it was the second one. I don't know.
You know what?
Neither.
I have no idea.
You could combine those two, and it was not the rematch of the century.
I mean, it just the choreo. I don't. Oh, okay. So if I was working on that show, how do you look at that final product and go, "Fuck, guys, we did it. We did it. We're paying homage to Nick Gillard. I think we nailed it. People are gonna love this." What?
Exactly. Exactly.
What? No, absolutely not. So, I mean, to your point, yes, I would love to see Nick Gillard back. I don't know if he's interested in coming back to Star Wars. I mean, I would have to imagine if you're Nick, yeah, of course you are.
Sure,
of
he'd
course
come back.
of course you'd be stoked to come back. But having said that, I mean, where's it going to go? Is it going to go in Boba Fett? Is it going to go in Mando? Is it going to go in, Kenobi season 2? If it goes in Kenobi season 2, what are you going to have fucking Vader and Kenobi fight again? At this point, it's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. So they blew their opportunity there. And I think for me, that's the most frustrating part, is that just like the sequel trilogy and just like Kenobi, you had an opportunity and you fucking blew it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over and over and over again. You're taking the one
yeah.
shot that you have and you're fucking blowing it.
And those lightsaber duels in the sequel trilogy were not even lightsaber duels.
No, it looks like me and my brother with long swords in the backyard. Like, we're more successful than they are, and I cut his thumb off.
Well, and also the problem in the sequels is when lightsabers was used, with the exception of a couple of aborted attempts between, Rey and Kylo, right? The lightsabers were used against not other people with lightsabers, right? They were used more as a, as, going up against blasters and stormtroopers and stupid Praetorian guards and all the rest of that. If you think about, the amount of times where they actually dueled each other with lightsabers in the sequel trilogy, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to get more dumb Western shootout style fights. Never forget senior citizen Ahsoka fighting that old lady. I wasn't happy with that one.
Morgan Elsbeth with the best
Morgan
with the
Elsbeth.
Beskar spear.
Yeah, that was really bad. Dude, if Ahsoka, they're gonna have to come out with a comic that describes why she led her on in that fight for 5 minutes. Because a Jedi would have cut her head off in, I don't know, 2 seconds.
Well,
Pretty
Ahsoka's
much.
not a Jedi.
Bro. Bro. You're talking about the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker fighting somebody who's a non-force sensitive. Head is off and like.
Well, she was a Night Sister, though. I mean, she had something going for her.
Bro.
I don't know.
Bro.
No.
Bro. I hate to keep saying that B word, but bro.
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like,
So I have to say, sadly, I can't believe I would say sadly. I should say happily, right? But I have to say sadly, I think there is an opportunity in the Ahsoka show coming for there to be more lightsaber fights. Between.
Now,
Ahsoka.
can you imagine if they got Nick Gillard to do the choreography for the Ahsoka series?
Well, that's where I was going with it. So it's like, okay, so if you assume that there is an opportunity for Ahsoka to be
She's
dueling
not a Night Sister.
perhaps she is, perhaps she isn't.
She's not a Night Sister.
We'll see. So in regards to, again, what they're doing in Ahsoka, I think there'll be lightsabers involved. I think they'll be dueling. So how are they? I mean, are we gonna get something that's beautiful? Or are we gonna get more of this clunky bullshit?
By the way, Modi G, tell Mace Windu that, because he dropped ahead real quick on Geonosis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think? What has a better opportunity of succeeding? Boba Fett 2 or Kenobi Season 2?
I'm giving the slight edge to Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Boba Fett
Okay.
was just a dumpster. You know, they had some good moments in Kenobi. It started off strong, but then it fizzled out. And to me, it's, Kenobi had some, better action than Boba Fett.
Got it. All right, thanks, Noah, for popping in. I appreciate you being here. We're going to move on to the next guy. All right. We got oh my God, look at this bro.
Who is it?
There
he is.
Bro. He's just hanging out.
What's up,
Oh,
Oh, welcome to the gun show.
Had to stretch. Come on.
Hey, I can't check it out. I don't know. Do you have a favorite college football team?
It's hard to know.
I couldn't tell.
Who's to know? I don't know.
All right, what's your thoughts? What do you think? What do you want to talk about? Pick one. Kenobi or Boba 2?
Well, the question you just posed to him, I feel the opposite. I think that my feelings are more hurt from Kenobi than they are from Boba Fett, and I think the stupid way they ended Boba Fett, but it opened the door.
Dog, I love the way you said that, by the way. My feelings are more hurt by Kenobi, and I'm totally with you. Yeah, my fucking feelings are hurt. I like that.
Well, I think they, with Boba and Fennec Shan walking through the city saying maybe we're not cut out for this crap. It makes me, maybe they could go a different direction with the next season and Boba can actually be doing Boba shit. And it might be less hard to watch than more Kenobi with Reva poking around the corner, trying to, or a new
In the
woke,
gutter.
or a new woke character trying to take the spotlight again.
So Star Wars Dog, what do you think would make a good story for a second season of Book of Boba Fett? So we all established we want him kicking ass, but what do you? So you're pointing at Maul? You think Maul is still involved?
Well,
No, I don't
guess
like that at all.
technically, no, he'd be already gone, right?
Yeah.
I think that's just
something within that level. If you want to stay in the crime boss family kind of deal, the next like maybe not 5 Pikes this time, maybe an actual syndicate leader.
Oh, the landfish.
Big.
I love how they gave us like the dopest fucking huts we've ever seen in our entire life.
Just left, and they're
like, yeah, we're done. We're done.
No mind.
We're out.
That's it. Yeah, we're done.
Out.
We're done. Yeah, whatever. It's so fucking dumb. They were great too. I remember when we saw the twins, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I was pumped, man. Those twins looked awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then it was just like, bye. Never gonna see them again.
I personally think if they're gonna go that direction, right, I would like to see them do it with Kira. Kira could be a very formidable crime syndicate boss at this point.
What I understand with what she did in the comics, like they've milked that cow a little too much already.
No, I know that's.
Well, dude, can you imagine the videos already? Boba Fett bested by Kira, Wham in Power in Star Wars.
Shipped. All these people love shipping, right?
Bobira.
Yeah. Crazy.
But they have to give him a formidable adversary, or they have to send him on some personally important.
Hey,
this is the shit that drives me nuts. This did happen. They were in like a grand hall, and Kira beat fucking Vader in a fight.
Well, who hasn't at this point? X-Men.
Right.
Everyone's beaten Vader
How about something with Han Solo? He's poking around being a deadbeat dad.
I thought we were going to see Han in Book of Boba Fett.
I mean,
certainly could have.
He smacked him in the back with an oar. They got beef, so.
I know some folks have been very much on the, Mace is still alive. There's going to be some Mace in the Boba thing or whatever. But for me, I'm like, I don't want to see that at this point, right? I'd rather see Boba going after other bounty hunters that wronged him, or a Han vendetta, or something to do with the Hutts, or any of the rest of it. But it has to be some story that makes sense for what comes next.
All right, so we got to bring the next guy on, but go ahead and give us Star Wars Dog. What is the ideal storyline for Book of Boba Fett Season 2?
Well, okay. I mean, just spitballing. I would say get the hell off of Tatooine. I don't track down some crime syndicates and start causing a bunch of waves. I don't really have a lot of good details at the moment, but just have him do Boba Fett things. Have him be a badass bounty hunter again.
So you would say, what I think you're saying is, instead of wanting to be a daimyo on Tatooine, dumb as fuck, it's such a bad fucking word for that. By the way, daimyos were like warlords for shoguns in Japan. In
Major
the
domo,
1300s.
daimyo, major domo. Talk about the bad language. I mean, the vocabulary.
Bad vocabulary, bad dialogue. You would see Boba Fett take over Tatooine and go, "That's not enough for me." Sure. And he'll hop in the Slave One, and he'll go to all kinds of different planets, taking shit over, murdering people, becoming the most successful crime lord in the world. The Tony Soprano of the fucking Star Wars universe. That's what I thought we were getting.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I don't want to kill people anymore. I'm a Disney character now.
You could tie it with the Mandos stuff and have him link up with the landed gentry, have him, they got the bounty hunters guild there. He can.
No, it's not a bounty hunters guild anymore.
Well, he's got the connections to those bounty hunters, right? So I'm just saying you could do some collaboration with that as well, and just yeah, there he is, and just give us some action, give us some pew pews. Have Boba Fett get back
and
to
give
himself.
us some dance moves. Thank you for the super chat.
Heck yeah.
dog. I appreciate you. We got one more person to bring in at this point. I'll drop the link one more time. I think we could do one more.
Good to see you, brother. Take care of yourself.
Dog, I'll see you in I'll see you later. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a good man. Good people.
Okay, time for your favorite person in the world.
Oh, please. Oh, I know.
Hello.
You could be landed gentry.
I got you off for a nice parcel. You could be landed
Here's my question. What's better, X-Wing and Rissman? Landed gentry or damn you?
Shit.
Neither one of them is particularly great, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
not
a fan.
Not a fan of any of it. I don't like the dialogue. I don't like the vocabulary that they're using. For some reason, I literally think that either John or Dave, somebody's mom bought them a fucking thesaurus for Christmas, and they're like, "Ooh, oh my god, I had no idea that this was a thing."
But I have to tell you, I was more taken out of the episode by the fact that when they were walking, literally they were walking along Navarro, and they passed like a medieval quartet, and they were literally playing on lutes and all the rest of that.
There was a fucking
lute.
lute.
What the hell? Yeah. it's like what? Yeah, Nikki's like, I expected like Shakespearean something, because they're like lute. They even had the building class. Like, where did this come from? It's like what?
I only use 6-syllable words. I refuse to use anything less.
Somebody reciting frickin' Shakespeare in Huttese would be awesome. Tell me that would not be cool.
It was like we were at a Renaissance fair on Navarro. I'm like, what is going on?
Thine breasts show such wonder. The sun shines off thou Beskar.
Well, if I ever,
oh my god, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
If I ever write for Star Wars, I know exactly what I'm going to put in there, and it's going to be just for you two.
Oh no.
Yep. You did it.
What
now.
light shows through winter yonder?
Fucking nerd.
Could you see Din Djarin, reciting Romeo and Juliet?
Oh, I can't wait for everybody to ship fucking Mando and Bo-Katan. We were talking about that in the Echo Base Network stream. Everybody's like, there can't be a male and a female character together. And I see John is down here. I'm totally picking on him right now. We can't have a male and a female character in anywhere that's proximity of each other. I mean, if it's a fucking parsec, they're banging. They're banging. It's like, oh, we can't have those two exist without banging each other.
They're gonna join the clans, right? He's gonna show her his dark saber, and she's gonna show him her mythosaur.
That'd be great.
Should happen.
Yeah, they're gonna call it Mando, episode 17, the Klansmen, and everybody's gonna be really excited.
Well, we can't say the Klansmen. Yeah. That's all different. That's all that we can't do. No. We can't say that.
The Tale of Two Clans.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I just wanted to pop in here and say thank you to everybody that donated to Tron. Y'all are awesome. We have the best crew in all of YouTube, I think.
Look, the Hangar Bay community is absolutely amazing. And yes, I did want to extend my thanks to you, because obviously you made a massive donation. I feel like I need to let everybody know the reason why you made that massive donation is because you wanted to donate more than Rissman because you hate him so much.
Fair enough.
He's gonna hold that over your head.
I had to one up you, Rissman. That's definitely that's only part of it. The other, the real reason that I did it was because it was my birthday today, as I posted everywhere. And rather than going out drinking and celebrating, I stayed home and I gave that money to Tron instead, because he's going to actually use that rather than, I think it would be better for him to use it for something that matters than, me just going away and drinking it all.
So here is to the Ghost Rider spending his money on a good cause instead of with a dirty stripper. We love you for that, Ghost Rider. We know you're a Marine. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your donation tonight. We appreciate it. I think it's time to dance for the Ghost Rider.
And always
And we're
remember,
gonna drop one more for the donation.
Just remember, I'm a better person than Matt Rissman.
Whatever, dude. Whatever.
No, I love you, Matt.
I know, brother. Much love. Happy birthday.
It's always
too,
good
by the way.
conversation. I love these two together just because they're like oil and vinegar.
Oh, I
Makes me
know.
very happy.
I know which Echo Base Network person's in the chat when they said I would have chose the hookers and the.
I
bars,
can't
so-
imagine which end of Activate that
I
is.
know
I'm
who
gonna
it
tell
is.
you.
I think I know.
All right.
Which one it is.
We've
Well,
got-
if you're in Vegas, then maybe we'll fix that. Okay, Nick?
We've got one more to bring on. Ghost Rider again. Thank you so much for all of the donations. Thank you so much for supporting it. We appreciate you, and we love you, brother.
Cheers.
Take care, buddy.
Cheers. All right, and then we have a celebrity here in the
Really?
chat. Oh my god,
Oh, there's John's back again. What's up, bud?
John Coco.
I can't get enough of you guys tonight.
He's got his whiteboard.
What's up, buddy?
He's got his
I saw.
whiteboard.
got
I was
my
watching
whiteboard.
you like writing on your fucking whiteboard as we were talking in the background.
I gotta just to make it efficient. I don't want to take up too much time.
No,
you know?
that's fine. You got to make notes, man.
We gotta
Okay,
make notes, man.
let's go.
So
What do you got?
here's what we're gonna talk about Boba, and
Okay.
here's how it's gonna go. You guys are the showrunners, and I'm coming to you with the writing pitch for how Boba Fett should have gone. All right.
Okay.
Number one, we needed to find a balanced filming style. The tone of this, how Star Wars has got to be, is somewhere between where Mando and Andor is. They're almost on that mark. They're just kind of missing the beat, right?
I would agree.
A lot of people love Andor. A lot of people love Mando. Put them together. Give us that seriousness. Give us a little
Mandor.
bit of
Mandor.
Mandor.
There you go.
Bam.
I love it.
Now, what the whole premise is you have Boba Fett re-entering the villainy, the darkness. You have the New Republic. Planets are opening up. You don't know what's going on. They're picking, and everybody's vying for power. So you have a villain war between the Pikes, the Hutts, what's left over of Crimson Dawn, rogue bounty hunter groups, and the Remnant are all out there in the mid and outer rim, constantly just fighting over planets. There's assassinations. You don't know who's going. You nailed it perfectly. Godfather Part 1. We're talking about Solozzo. We're talking about stuff like that. You're trying to do deals. People are getting assassinated. Who did it? Who's framing who? And then basically what you do each 2 or 3 episodes is you bring in cameo bounty hunters. So you bring in Mando and tie that in because Boba's like, hey, I need your help on this one. You bring in Kersantin. You bring in all their scoundrels that we know of and other bounty hunters that he can partner with. And you just do a story like that on its own. And it's like, how do they not? How am I sitting here in San Diego? And
Where's
how is
Dengar? Where's
how is-
Forlom? Where are all these freaking bounty hunters? Why
Where
can't
are-
you tell a good story where this guy's a complete and total badass?
God, there's so much stuff that they could do. They could create an overall arch that somebody's going for a big score and everybody's picking up on the score and they're trying to kill each other, each thing, because they're all criminal organizations and they're all trying to build each other up. There's so much crossover of who's backstabbing who and who's switching side and who's the double agent. And it's like, then you could get spies involved and you could get all kinds of stuff where Crimson Dawn is suddenly doing backdoor deals with the Remnant and selling them stuff. And the Hutts don't want anybody to deal with the Remnant. It's just like, wow, you had all that opportunity to do something like that. Nope.
Nope.
And-
Throw it
and
all away.
And Felicity said it in the chat, right? For a lot of us, this is what we thought we were getting in the first season, which was a lot of his interaction, whether you thought he was on a vendetta or whatever you thought might have been his motivation, because we didn't know. We thought, on John's point, there would be a lot of interaction with other legacy bounty hunters in a way that we would have found.
Do you
quite
remember the
satisfying.
rumors swirling about Dengar and him seeing Han Solo and all these different things that we could have enjoyed in that series? And then none of it came to fruition. And when it
instead we
finally
got-
came to the big bad, it was bad. It was poorly make-up fish people.
Not only did it not come to fruition, but we got a lizard up his nose. We got dancing around. We got a whole weird bit of
Big
nonsense.
Star Wars.
Instead of a massive battle in the streets of Nar Shaddaa. Imagine that suddenly they're all at this massive club, and there's a meeting.
Hold on. We gotta stop.
Yeah.
We gotta stop. We can't talk bad about this stuff. Jay loves it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Jay loves Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He said it's kind of sad that you still like these kind of streams where we're talking bad about Book of Boba Fett. Damn.
Jay, we got to take Gavin's advice. We all need to grow up.
Yeah, that's fine,
we-
man. If you love that kind of Disney Star Wars stuff, you do you, bro. You do you.
Yeah, I just imagine that, man. Imagine a meeting of the captains of all these organizations, and it comes to this mid-season head where they're all meeting in Nar Shaddaa, and then there's this somebody tries to exterminate them all, and there's just this massive battle, like it was, just something, what I can't even recommend. What was it, Scarface, that they took everybody out like that, all the heads?
Well, remember, he had an opportunity for a Scarface moment when he had everybody come
at the
from
table,
Jabba's palace.
Bro, open up the pit and give him to the freaking Rancor.
And who was telling him to do that? Of course, Fennec was like, "Why don't we just take care of this problem
It's
right
like Joe
now?"
Biden's handler. She's like, you need to act like a mob boss, and he's like, no, not me.
Imagine this scene.
Then they totally screwed him over.
Imagine this scene that he opens up the pit and they start falling in, and one of them is just holding on for dear life, and he's screaming up at Mando, and he's like, "You won't get away with this." And then Boba, and he's just, "You won't get away with this, Boba." And Boba just walks over and just steps on his feet.
Right on his
and then
foot.
he just falls, and you just see him fall into the mouth of the Rancor.
Yes!
Boom! Smash.
Let's
It's
go.
just like-
Of course, there was no Rancor at that time, but okay.
Yeah.
Details.
You must contradict yourself.
So that's all I got, guys. That's headcanon for me.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
I appreciate you for it. Thank you for popping in, John. I appreciate
Anytime,
you
guys.
being here.
And if you post the link in the chat for Tron, I'll go hit that up. If you can put that, it's in there.
It's all done.
Yeah, we did it, man.
We hit the goal. The goal
We did
is
it.
to hit.
We're there.
Oh, you
That's
can't
it.
you can't put on top of the goal.
Well, I'm sure
You might be able to. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know.
Okay.
But I appreciate it. Thanks,
All
brother.
right, guys. Thanks.
Good to see you, John.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Wow. So yeah, we hit the $1,500 for the homie. We've had a lot of good conversations.
Yeah.
There's one thing we haven't talked about.
Oh no.
Bob Iger.
Oh yeah, your favorite.
Well, I feel like I haven't liked any head of Disney since I got involved with this whole thing, and I'm starting to learn about these heads of different companies, and certainly Disney more than anything. I've always kind of been in stocks, and I was like, if I follow what the head of the company says on Twitter, I might actually see what's going on, which was a misguided opinion at best. But when it comes to Lucasfilm, and now since Bob Iger is back, I have to ask myself, what is really the future for Star Wars with Bob Iger at the head? Because, at this point, we're expecting 2 years, maybe more at this point. God knows. What do you think we're going to get? And to me, I don't see a movie in the next 2 years.
We're gonna get a movie in 2025. I would almost bet
you think this is going to be the sequel movie? The Rey movie?
So I'm a little bit conflicted on this point, right? Because the recent rumors and things that were being talked about referenced that it was going to be a Rey and Grogu thing. And then we've had Favreau since come out quite vehemently saying, "Nah, Grogu's mine." And we have a small screen plan for Grogu. And
but what have you said so many times? He's not an employee of Lucasfilm. He's a contractor. So what say does he have in Grogu's future?
I don't know what's in his contract. Right? I don't know what he does or doesn't have, right, in regards to these characters that he helped create and the story that he's telling, because even as a contractor, he understands that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate, as Robert Meyer Burnett always says.
Right.
So he would have a vested interest to make sure the characters and the stories that he has helped write, he retains some control over continuing those for no other reason than to keep himself employed. But I've always thought it doesn't make any sense whether he has any creative control over it or not. It wouldn't make any sense for them to put out a movie in 2025 that has Grogu in the future while they're still running Grogu in the past in a series on the small screen. Why would they cannibalize their own cash cow?
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
So I'm not saying that they can't still put a movie out there that's post Rise of Skywalker that could still include some characters, but the main thrust of this leak / story / scoop said it was going to be a Rey and a Grogu thing, and I don't think that's true. It just doesn't make sense to me.
We got a super chat from Sheeburger. Din was an absolute idiot the last episode. Hail to legendary Tron. Dude, I can't argue with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, look, the guy took off his jetpack. He's wearing full plate armor and then walked out into the water.
If you look back at it, he took off.
I wish I had the link the clip from the Joker. You get what you fucking deserve.
He took off his jetpack and his cape.
Yeah.
I'm like, so did he think he would get all tangled up in his cape?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
What an idiot!
So I'm like, I just don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
But in regards to the Iger,
this is the one that scares me. Teen Grogu with Rey. I'm sorry. It hits my gag reaction. Thinking about that being an actual possibility for Star Wars makes me sick to my stomach. Teen Grogu with Rey.
I think we're gonna get a movie in 2025. What that movie is, where is the story set? I really, at this point, I couldn't even tell you.
You're gonna get James Gunn fucking Groot type humor between Rey and Grogu, and it's
I really don't see it. I just don't. I just.
It makes me physically ill thinking that that's a possibility, and the problem that I have right now is that I think in like the Disney writing rooms, they're like, this is gonna be a slam dunk. Everybody's gonna love this. Oh my god, Grogu's a teenager now with his mom, Rey. People are gonna eat this up. It's possibly gonna be the greatest thing that we've ever done. You can ask anybody. China's gonna eat this up. It's gonna be amazing.
You sound like a bad Trump.
This is gonna be. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. This is gonna be the most amazing thing that Star Wars has ever seen. You can ask anybody. It's gonna be great. We're gonna roll Grogu out. It's gonna be amazing. People are gonna love this. Teenage Grogu. I'm telling you, it's gonna be amazing.
Well, and in the chat, Nick says 2025. No, I have to be in pre-production now, and it takes a minute. And I'm with you. I mean, if you listen to Tony Gilroy talking about just filming Andor and some of the rest of it, you know, and how long the production takes, yeah, it can be a 12 to an 18-month cycle. So far, one of the things that Iger said was, come hell or high water, we're going to have a movie in 2025. Star Wars movie. Whether he reverses himself in either Celebration or D23s in September, Celebrations in April, whether they reverse themselves or not, I don't know. But there is a panel, a cinematic focused panel, that's like the kickoff of Celebration. I find it hard to believe that they're going to have a Celebration event, which we know they're not going to have next year, and they're not going to announce at least a movie. Even though they're dumb, I don't think they're that dumb.
Yeah, they are. He's like, dude, Bob Iger's like, don't rush projects. But by the way, we need one in 2025. Don't rush it, but we need it.
I think he's so legacy focused. I think he's going to want to ensure that during his tenure, whether it's really a 2-year tenure or it's a 3-year tenure or whatever it is, I think he's just that guy who's going to say, not only did I come back and help get things back on track, but I got a Star Wars movie released when no one else could. Would use the "would" word you want.
Yeah.
But this is
if
Iger.
He gave it to me, I could.
This is Iger we're talking about, right? And he's just going to
be
come
right
back. He's going to come back with what?
I said I gotta be right back.
Oh,
Nick,
small bladder.
Nick, get in here. It's been an hour and a half. I'm glad to take a piss.
Small bladder strikes again.
Christmas criminy.
All right, he left me here again. What do you want to talk about, chat? It's your time. Oh, I can't bring anyone on anyway. I have no control. I have no control here. What do we think? Movie in the chat. Put a 1 if you think movie in 2025. Put a 0 if you think no movie in 2025. Put it in the chat. 1 for 2025, 0 for nothing. See what the chat thinks. Still 50 of y'all here. Nick says none. Oni says 1. Lana Gentry 0. Nikki says it's way overdue. 0, 1. No, there's a 69. 3, not helpful. 0. Felicity says no. Ted says no. Small Time Republic says yes. Star Wars Ladage wants to wait until he's very old for another movie. That's okay. Beskar, a lot of zeros. Yeah. And I guess the other part of the question is, do we care anymore? Like I was saying earlier, I've kind of stopped caring, to tell you the truth. For me, they kind of lost their opportunity for me to care. I don't. That's the other thing about it. Not only does it have to be a good story, but at this point, we've gone so long without it. Does it matter? I think it matters. I mean, I don't know. I think Strategist doesn't care. Mob's done the same. Lana Gentry. I don't know. Maybe some of it has to do with how well Mando does, right? I don't. A lot of people have been waiting on Mando, making their go forward. But on Mando, for some other folks, it's Ahsoka. Ronnie, I ignore most of the things you say. Do I have to scroll back? What did Ronnie say? Would y'all rather a new movie in 2025 or the re-release of OG and prequel trilogies? I've said it before a few times. The best thing they could have done for me is put the original 6 back out again. There's a rumor that says we might get Return of the Jedi in April. Don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it is anniversarying, but of course we've had some prequels anniversarying now. They never came back. I know some of the smaller venues, one-offs have brought them back. But for me, I'm like, yeah, bring the original 6 back. Why not? I don't know. I asked
Original 6 of what?
The Star Wars movies, like we talked about. If you want to jumpstart Star Wars theatrical, come back out. Which again, I think their best opportunity to have done this would have been just post-pandemic when the movies were still ramping back up. But bring the original, bring the original 6 back out for limited theatrical release, just to get the hype train going again for Star Wars on the big screen.
You know what was funny? Actually, I think this is on Twitter. I'll pull this up. And I said this in the EBN one too. Why does Disney Lucasfilm hate the prequel trilogy so much?
Well, it's not only that, but it seems the thing that gives some credibility to this whole they hate the prequels is it cascades down to the licenses, right? Lego never very seldomly puts out prequel sets. Hasbro has been here, there, and otherwise. Yeah, this is the Celebration badge. Right?
Yeah, these are the badges for the Celebration. I think it's actually. Tell me why, for any reason, Reva is up there, and we don't have a Qui-Gon Jinn or a Mace Windu. I would take Ki-Adi-Mundi over freaking Reva in a heartbeat, or a Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Anything from the prequel trilogy. And people are like, oh, well, look, there's a young Obi-Wan down there. Bro, that's from the Kenobi show.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, so no. Where's the prequels? Anywhere? Anything? Hello?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, and also what surprised me a bit about this, I'm with you, but there's no Palpatine either, right? Unless I'm missing him. There's no Emperor.
Yeah, no Emperor.
So again, this was I think her name is Zhang. I think this is one badge. I don't think they're separate badges. Maybe I think it's.
Yeah, they are. They're all separate badges.
All separate badges.
Yeah.
And so they were commissioned, to do this artwork, and here you go.
And here you go.
I was actually kind of surprised to see Chopper on there, to tell you the truth.
You've got Reva and Rey and Fennec Shand and Grief Karga and Finn. I mean, who doesn't want a Finn?
Well, Andor made the cut, right?
And lest we forget, you can get Omega on a badge. If we're talking about influential characters in Star Wars, I mean, Omega is just, top tier. I mean, when I think about Star Wars, I think Omega,
Well, and also you see up at the top there, the version of Vader they gave us is the Kenobi mass split Vader.
And this is the worst part, too. There's no Chewie up in this bitch.
Yeah, but that Vader was very telling. It was like, okay, it was bitched out Vader again.
It's the Kenobi and Vader. Yeah. Yep.
So I was surprised that we got Han and Leia, to tell you the truth. But I think you can see clearly Leia's in Return of the Jedi garb, probably Han is too, right? So, I mean, the reason why they made the cut is because, again, it's the anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and they've got a Return of the Jedi panel, on there. But
you're going to be forced to deal with that.
Yeah, but no Lando. Lando's not here, right? So, I mean, we got those are the only original trilogy. I mean, Yoda, whatever you want to count Yoda as.
Better to put Chopper than Lando.
Chopper is surprising.
Definitely. I mean, Omega takes precedence over Chewie for sure. I mean, who's that fucking guy?
Well, it's
obviously Fennec Shand and Bo-Katan are more important than Mace Windu or Qui-Gon Jinn or Count Dooku or any of those guys. I mean, what do they have to do with Star Wars?
I hear you. Yeah.
Rage. That's where I'm at. I'm getting to the point where I'm almost just gonna rage.
Where's 9? No. Oh my gosh. So
that's what I had.
Did we close on Bob Iger? Did you have anything you want? We got off on a tangent.
No, I just think it's absolutely hilarious that he legitimately came out in a public statement and said, "Hold on, guys, we got to slow down and take a look at what we're doing here when it comes to these." When he was the one who instated the faster, more intense policy at Lucasfilm when it came to the sequel trilogy. So you want to talk about somebody who's just woefully unaware of how fucking moronic he is when it comes to these nerd IPs? That's him. That's Bob Iger. So,
we'll see. I'll be very curious. We're what they announce next month and how it's received, and
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I say I think I've moved in, the phases of grief, right? I think I've moved into acceptance now. What's the last one? I don't know. Maybe it is acceptance, but I'm kind of like
acceptance is the last one.
Yeah, I feel like it's acceptance. And Nick is right. Whether you call it backtracking, whether you call it learning from your mistakes, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, he's totally looking at it now from a financial perspective and saying, how do I minimize the fallout if we do this again? Because he has to be looking at the way the recent Marvel stuff has underperformed. And that's got to be another nail in the proverbial, gun-shy.
I'd love to say that's a thing, but look at how Phase 4 did, and now they're coming out with the movie The Marvels. So in my mind, and I mean, Jay's right. I'm sure he just looks at the numbers. That's fine. He should have looked at the numbers to start with. He should have had an idea going into this. There should have been a plan going into this. You're buying an IP for $4 billion. You should know what you're going to do with it. And if this guy thought he was just going to print money with Star Wars, he was right. Except he needs to know what he's doing. And so, for me, I hold no love for Bob Iger. I have no love for any of the Bobs. And certainly not any Kennedys.
Well, there's been more Bobs than Kennedys, but I get you.
And at this point, I don't know what needs to happen, but something needs to happen, because when people say Star Wars is dead, I get the sentiment. I don't think it is, but I get the sentiment 100%. So something needs to happen. Something needs to change. There has to be something that happens within the story group, whether it needs to happen. Just something needs to happen. And I think at this point, any news is good news, essentially, when it comes to a change at Lucasfilm, because let's be honest with each other, The Acolyte is still in production.
As much as people would like to believe otherwise, whether, the Morgan Stanley thing, apparently it was talked about, but just recently, I know no one watches it, but I saw a soundbite about it, so I actually watched the last Christina Ireland's still doing the High Republic show, on the YouTube channel, and somebody woke James Waugh up and said, "You want to come on the show?" And he did. He's like their executive over streaming and the rest of it, or content or something. And so she started sort of, prodding him with, prepared questions about High Republic content and what's coming and what can you tell us. And he commented on two things very directly, on The Acolyte and Eclipse, of all things.
Yeah.
And he said they're both. Yeah. He said they're both still coming. Obviously, he was more into talking about The Acolyte and some of the rest of it, but it was front and center in his commentary. I don't think he would say that if it wasn't true.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Acolyte a fair shake, but I already know what my channel's gonna be when it releases. And I already know what everybody's going to say. He's a fake fan. He's a piece of shit. He's racist. He doesn't, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. It's going to be bad Star Wars. And I hope I'm wrong. Imagine if it's amazing. That'd be sick. I'd be very happy. I still won't like Leslie Headland, but I can like the show.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said you have to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
If the art still sucks, though, then you should just call it out.
That's the thing. So, I have no problem separating. And that's why, same thing with, Gina Carano, Mark Hamill, same thing. I totally disagree with a lot of the shit that Mark Hamill says. A lot of the time. He's fucking Luke Skywalker. I love him. I will always love him. So, yeah, I don't know.
And I mean, these folks' viewpoints have not changed. What's changed is our access into hearing them speak them. Yeah. Again, that's just the advent of the internet and social media and their accessibility and all the rest of it. And it's very off-putting if you're involved with the social media aspect of it to then experience these folks, acting a part. And so I'm with you, but I'm kind of like, people have always been people and opinionated and you know what I mean, the views and all that, and you know, it's just not good. But professionally speaking, we have traditionally enjoyed a lot of what some of these folks have produced, you know, from an art form perspective,
Right.
without getting involved with their personal beliefs.
Yeah, I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is in a galaxy a long, long time ago, far, far away.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be. Should be.
Yeah.
Is X-Wing going to sing like Whitney Houston or Dolly Parton?
That's a strange question.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that's
Can't help
about.
you with, can't help.
What?
That was a bit of a strange question. I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I had for the night, buddy.
Good stuff, man. Always appreciate being on. We had, you know, 50 some odd people here pretty much the whole time. God bless
There's
you all.
still 56 people here.
Yes, goodness sakes. Good to have everyone here as always. Really
The chat
appreciate
always
it.
keeps me entertained when we're streaming because sometimes I don't know what to say, and then I look at the chat, and chat's just like absolutely.
Oh, the Great Pilgrim's upset because we really didn't talk about Bad Batch.
Oh, we really didn't talk about Bad Batch.
Yeah.
You want to get that done?
Sure, we can talk another 15 minutes. I'm good with that.
I love it. Yeah. So, Bad Batch. So I watched the two. So not last episode, but the episode before, they put that creature in there,
The Zillo Beast.
and they were like, "It's the one that attacked the city." I don't remember the Zillo Beast attacking the city.
So this was the Zillo Beast from the Clone Wars arc that Palpatine wanted them to capture because he wanted to study the armor. So it got unleashed on Coruscant, and they had to capture the thing.
I don't remember that at all.
It was like a 2-episode clone.
I remember Zillo Beast, but I don't remember the episodes.
Yeah, and they were like, no, we don't. And he's like, no, you need to capture it. I want to study this thing, and so on.
Before he was Chancellor.
Yeah, this was before he was the Emperor. He might have been Chancellor at that point because it was during the Clone Wars, so he was probably Chancellor. But this Zillo Beast incident in this episode of the Bad Batch was a cloned was cloned ostensibly cloned from the original one that they had. And again, I think Palpatine's interest was around the armor because I think the armor, if I'm recalling correctly, the armor of the Beast was lightsaber resistant. There was something about it that he felt like would help, defend against the Jedi.
Blaster resistant, lightsaber resistant.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people, there was a bit of member berries there, I guess, right? But a lot of people were like, okay, here we go again, the Zillo Beast is back. And it was I liked the way they did it. It was I got very alien vibes.
Oh, it was a Ridley Scott episode. 100%.
Yeah, totally. The way they did it. And then, the Bad Batch didn't know what they were getting into and all the rest of it. And then it helped.
We even got the Ridley Scott like picking up the slime and going,
yeah,
oh God, what do we have here?
Yeah, totally. And the music and everything. And then there was the fill-in about, them figuring out, okay, it wasn't so much, the punchline was, okay, it wasn't so much about them trying to destroy Camino for the sake of it, but just the Empire wanted to be in complete control over the cloning tech.
Yeah.
And didn't want any oversight or competition with that. And then, of course, the introduction of this Dr. Hemlock, as the new, seemingly the new big bad, and the person who's in charge of sort of moving the, the whole project forward with, again, this had the whole, Namasé and Lamassu. I always get the names confused, right? But the gal.
Lamassu and Nalasé.
Yeah, so Nalasé in prison didn't want to help out. Then all of a sudden, somehow the prime minister was still alive, brought in, and sort of then the whole thing was, well, you need to get something she cares about. You need to find Omega. So finally, to me, they connected those dots, right, and said, Okay, all of a sudden now they're putting it all together on somebody cares about Omega under the guises of making this, making this expert cloner play ball.
Did you notice that the early? Oh wait, no, that's the next episode. The drop transports look exactly like the ones from Starship Troopers.
Oh, I'm not into I didn't really care for Starship Troopers, so I didn't.
What?
Yeah.
What? That is an absolute Hollywood icon.
Well, it's the Hollywood something, that's for sure. But...
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
But, in the second episode for me, so much. I mean, I would have to say the second episode was almost a perfect episode of I almost never give something a 10. In that second episode, I'm really, really close. I mean, it's a 9 to 9.5.
That's an awfully high rating.
It's just the writing, the cinematography / animation in this case, the music, just the whole plot line of what they were doing. To me,
it was good.
It was really, really good.
I was shocked that Nick from Echo Base was like, "That's about as good as you can never get when it comes to."
He checked back in on the right. I mean, he did pick the right episode to check back in, and it was, I think
it was a good episode, man. It was a good episode. I don't think it was perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it a 10.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, it was really, really good in regards to just the way they wove it all together and just seeing the emotions. I would never think you would say this in the, in an animated something, but the emotions that went through Crosshair's face.
Yeah.
After he brought he barely knew the guy, right? In the Mayday, but as he...
and there was all the stuff in the beginning of the episode where you don't carry dead weight, right? There were setups and payoffs in every aspect of this episode. There were setups and payoffs. And yeah, he saves him from the mine, and he, right before that, he's like, "Remind me not to die on your watch." And
they
get to the point where he's like, "I'm not going to leave you."
He brings them all the way back, and then Lieutenant Nolan, boy, we barely knew that guy, didn't we? He's like, you all look both expendable. I don't, whatever.
I'm glad we didn't spend much time with him because I would have shot his ass too.
Well, and so I have to say, talk about a son of a bitch, right? He said, "You two need to go out and recover this," and they come back and they find all the reinforcements have come in, right? And they're bringing more of this shit, and you got to be thinking like, well, motherfucker, there's 100 more people now here. Why could we not wait 10 minutes for these people to show? You make us go. He's now dead. You wouldn't help him. And now you're saying what?
It's inefficient government programs, dude.
Well,
that's all it was.
It was, again, it's the Empire's opinion of clones are expendable. Clones are damaged goods. They're yesterday's news. We can't.
He even says it. I prefer not to travel with used goods or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yes. And all of this stuff. And yet, Mayday was there for 26 or 36 rotations. They never opened
36.
They never opened any of those crates. And yet they had nothing to wear. Everything was all cobbled together. And inside all those crates was brand new armor. Everything they needed.
Good soldiers follow orders.
And he said,
I was waiting for that line, and he kind of said it. He was like, "We were good soldiers. We follow orders."
And look what it got us, he said.
Yeah.
Look, and that's what I think finally got Crosshair to kind of snap into it, because Mayday was like, we followed orders this whole time, and look what it got us. That was when those crates got open and they saw, right? They saw what it was. I'm like, wow, I didn't see it coming. Just absolutely. Perfectly done. And then the icing on the cake was at the end. He's strapped in the table at Tantus, and one of the assistants is like,
if you cooperate, you might survive.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, so what's next? Is he going to be the first Death Trooper? What
probably
is he bait for Omega? Is it both? What's
the Bad Batch is going to pull him out of there.
Maybe
they're going to pull him out of there.
Maybe so.
And then Luke is gonna stop him because it's Mount Tantus. Oh no!
I can give you one thing with almost 100% surety: there ain't gonna be no Luke.
Yeah, there's not gonna be a Luke
or any of that nonsense. Stop it. There's not going to be none of that. There's not going to be none of that.
Nope. Disregard it all. Doesn't exist. It's not canon.
There's
Fake news.
No source material.
No source material.
But I'm excited for the rest of the series. Like I say, it goes on through the end of the month. We'll have a double episode at the end, so we'll have a couple single episodes, and then the last Wednesday of the month we'll have 2 Bad Batch, and then we'll have a Mando. Curious to see how they're going to do it, and then whether or not they leave it open for another season. While I don't know that I necessarily want another season of the Bad Batch, I would hate to think that we would move into a phase where there's no animated Star Wars at all.
Bad Batch is going to go to season 5.
You think it's going to have 5?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Easily. Heir to the Empire story is fire. I 100% agree, and they're not going to do it, which kind of fucking sucks. But we'll round this out with a wonderful super chat, a $4.99 super chat from Nick from Echo Base Network. What other episodes of Bad Batch Season 2 you think I will like? None of them.
Well, no, I don't think that's true.
None of them.
No, the one with Cody, the one with Cody was good.
Trust me, Nick.
No, that's not true. So sadly, the ones that I think Nick would enjoy are the ones that were very minimally involved. The actual Bad Batch. There was a couple at the beginning. The Cody one, I think it's called Solitary Clone. I'll look back at it, Nick, and we'll find you a few. But it's not out of the first. How many have we even had? Was this
Season 2's been trash up until that
that
episode that you watched.
This was the 12th one, maybe. So I would say these last 2, and maybe 2 to 3 other ones of the first batch of the Bad Batch Season 2 would be the only ones I would say go back to, because some of the rest
you would love the swoop racing episode. You should watch that one.
Riot Racing. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, you'll love that one.
Some of the rest of it was just there. It was just there.
Well, Nick, thanks for it. Let's dance this thing out. I appreciate you and I love you. I got nothing left.
No, we're good. Just wanted to make sure. Great Pilgrim, I saw him a couple times talking about Bad Batch. So we did it. We did it. I think it was good.
We got the talks in. Thank you, everybody, for a late night. It is.
Oh yeah, and the time change.
Late, especially late for Rissman. Don't we gain an hour?
No, we lose it. Spring forward. We lose it.
Rough.
Yeah.
Well, everybody have a good rest of your Saturday night. I'm going to be in the Discord hanging out. If anybody wants to continue the conversation, go down to the description. We will be hanging out probably in the general VC, kind of doing our own little after party stream down there. So join the VC. We'll see you guys later. Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys soon.
Take care.
Very soon.
Appreciate
have a good night.
Perfect.